Hey guys, it's Kristen. So a few years ago, I showed you guys how to roll yarn really fast using a mixer. This style was to have a paper towel roll in the middle. So I'm gonna show you guys what I do when I just want it to be a ball and I don't want there to be like a paper towel roll in the middle or anything like that. So for this, we're gonna use yarn, a drill, and then I'm using a bamboo knitting needle. Now, if you don't have one of these, you can definitely find a lot of different knitting needles at the thrift store. They're usually really cheap for an entire bag. I will also be using a knife and scissors to cut the bamboo knitting needle. So the first thing we need to do is cut this little ball off. Now, the reason why I use bamboo is because it's a lot easier to cut wood, or you can use metal ones and then snip it off as well. But I'm just gonna be very careful, and I'm gonna, ooh, horrible noise. I'm gonna cut this off. There we go. So now you're going to take your drill and put your dowel in there, and you're just going to want to tighten it as tight as it will go. There we go. So it's nice and firm and snug. Now for most of you, you'll use yarn like this where one of the ends will have the start of it and you just kind of pull that out. But I'm using different yarn. This yarn I get from KNITCRATE, and it comes in like a circle, so it goes around like that instead of straight out from the bottom, so it's a little harder to wind. Now, definitely make sure it's in the right direction, but you'll notice that if I just start spinning it, it's not going to really do anything. Like, it does get a little bit caught on there, but it's not really doing anything. So what we need to do is kind of wrap this around a few times like that. Okay, and you want to get it all clumped together, and this way it has something to catch onto. Now I'm going to hold this down and start spinning, and I'm going the wrong direction, so we got to go the other way. There we go. Now I do recommend that you don't put everything in this tiny little space. You're gonna wanna space it out because as this gets bigger, stuff will start falling off the sides. So I'm gonna go down along, all the way along like this, and kind of make a bigger space. Now I'm barely pulling on this. I'm really just letting the drill do it because you don't want, if you pull this really tight, then all of this is gonna be super tight and it could wreck the yarn. So keep your hand very loose. If you do notice that some areas are starting to get thicker than others, then just hold this in that spot for a few extra seconds. Now, I know some of you are probably asking, like, is it really tight? It's actually not. You can probably see I can squish it. So the yarn is very loose. You just have to be careful because you can kind of see the ends running out. So what I'm going to do is, now that I've gotten to this point, I'm going to put a clip right there. So I'm just going to be using these little baby office clips. They work perfect. So I'm just going to put this on the end and kind of squish it in of where I want it to stop. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. There we go. So it should now stay in those two, and it won't fall off the needle. So you can see it's still really soft, and I'm not tightening it, and you can still see how thick the strands are, so just don't pull on this really tight. As this gets thicker, I am going to start focusing more on just the center, so it becomes more of a ball instead of it being like this oval. So now once you have this done, you can undo the drill and loosen that up. So now I have this all winded up, and we've got our little clips. Then you can get a little basket if you want, and like this one is a little bit shorter, so it would have to just kind of sit like that. But if it's longer, you can put it this way through the holes, but that way you can just kind of grab it and roll like that. Now, if you really wanted to make sure it stays, you can put this through one of the little holes and then put the clips on the outside, or maybe like a rubber band. But this took way less time than if I were to roll this by hand. So now you can leave it like this, or we can take these little clamps off. Take these off like this, and I'm just gonna pull this out. So then what I usually do is just tuck these little ends right in, kind of just push it in like that so that they don't keep falling off. Go and tuck this one in. just because you get those little scraggly ones. So I usually just tuck them in. And so this will spread out a little bit, but it stays in the shape as long as you get those pieces in the end like that. But then you can just use it just like that without having the needle inside. Alright guys, so that's it for today's video. I feel like that was really easy and fun to do. It's going to save you a lot of time and your poor little hands from wrapping that for hours. So if you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe and then hit this bell so you're alerted when I upload a video. And I'll talk to you later.